help with our affairs today.
Bless this meeting with your divine intelligence and help us to make the best use of ours. We are of diverse opinion here, Lord, yet we wish to mend our differences and reach an agreement satisfactory to all. Help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership, as well as for the good and unity of our country. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and what is good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness, and guard us from blind self-interest. Grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. Finally, we ask again, O Lord, that you take into your keeping all those who perished in Mamapasano. All glory be to you, loving God, now and always, through Christ and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Madam Ampin. To determine the members present, the Chair directs the COMSEC to call the roll of members of the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
Roll call of members: Ferrer Jeffrey, Acop Romeo, Lanete Scott Davis, Pagdilaw Samuel, Torres Gomez Lucy, Sarmiento Mel Senen, Garay Florencio, Romarate Guillermo, Colliantes Nelson, Biazon Rodolfo, Cari Jose Carlos, Bernos Maria Jocelyn, Cuwa Daquila Carlo, Mendoza Joselito, Erice Edgar, Lechon Paulino Salvador, Goriseta Arcadio, Kalalay Francisco, Reyes Regina, Acharon Pedro, Erigel Eufranio, Hagedorn Douglas, Ponce Enrile Salvacion, Mendoza Mark Leandro, Batawil Leopoldo, Ting Randolph, Loong Tupay, Antonino Nadres Magnolia Rosa, Sakaluran Raden, Dayanghirang Nelson, Abu Raneo, Pacquiao Emmanuel, Garcia Gwendolyn, Lobregat Celso, Angping Maria Zenaida, Aglipay Emeline, Ferrer de Fort John John, Bichara Al Francis, Matugas Francisco, Belmonte Vicente, Chodoro Marcelino, Tupas Jr. Neil, Ungab Isidro, Sarmiento Cesar, Ong Emil, Dimaporo Imelda, Alejano Gary, Halusos Seth Frederick, Zarate Carlos Izagani, Albano Rodolfo. Nineteen members, Mr. Chair, responding to the call.
The Chair also directs the COMSEC of the Peace and Reconciliation Committee to call the roll of its members.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the part of Special Committee on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, Hataman Saliman Jim, Sakdalan Jesus, Lobregat Celso, Bagilat Teddy Bronner, Biason Rodolfo, Sema Baisandra, Sahali Ruby, Belmonte Jose Christopher, Rodriguez Maximo, Batawi Leopoldo, Hagedorn Douglas, Pagdilaw Samuel, Turabin Hataman City Jalia, Alejano Gary, Loong Tupay, Katamko Nancy, Sakaluran Raden, Rodriguez Rufus, Belio Silvestre Bebot. Hindi. There are 10 members who responded to the roll call, Mr. Chairman.
Just for the record,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman,
Congressman,
I would like to manifest that I have been deputized by the Speaker to be a member of this committee, and therefore I would provide the authorization to the COMSEC.
Mr. Chairman? Yes, Mr. Chairman? Before any reaction to that,
Yeah, for the record also.
we are going to call also the members who are being deputized, and may I ask the COMSEC to call those that have been deputized by the members of this committee. Thank you.
Members deputized to the Committee on Public Order, Fariñas Rodolfo, Abaya Francis Gerald, Kimbo Federico, Evardone Ben, and Pakis Leia.
On the part of the Special Committee on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, the deputized members are for Speaker Feliciano Belmonte, Honorable Elpidio Barzaga, for Deputy Speaker Henedina Abad, Honorable Josephine Sato, for Majority Floor Neptali Gonzalez, Honorable Henry Owaminal, and for Senior Deputy Majority Leader George Bolet Banal, Honorable Ben Everdone, and for Deputy Minority Leader Carol Jaime Lopez, Honorable Leia Pakis. There are 5 deputized members, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman.
yes, Congressman Agam.
Will the record also reflect that this representation is present here in today's hearing in his capacity as Deputy Speaker and ex-officio member of both committees? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very
Mr.
much,
Chairman.
Congressman Agam.
Mr. Chairman,
Deputy Speaker Apostol, you're recognized.
may I just make it a record that as a regular member of this committee, because deputy speakers are all regular members of the committee, that I am present.
Thank you very much. Please, members,
There is a call.
and yes, Congressman Pagdilao,
Unless
we're not yet finished with our roll call, and some of the members and leaders of this House we will recognize later after the roll call.
Yeah, I just want to bring
And,
to the attention of
and
the
also,
committee, Mr. Chair.
After this, we will recognize the presence of our Speaker of the House, Speaker Belmonte, and our Minority Leader, Sir, Congressman Zamora. Kaya ilang present? Ilang present? Present sa committee mo.
Sa akin is 10 ang present,
Then,
19 ang members.
19 total. Total.
And 10 ang
Hindi na, okay na. Total 19.
that is a call, including deputized 5.
Sino ang total na? 19, di ba? With the 19 members of the Committee on Public Order and Safety and 19 members of the Special Committee on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity responding to the call, the Chair declares the presence of a quorum.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Pagdilao.
may I now move for the approval of the minutes of our previous meeting held last February 11, and at the same time dispense with its reading, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion to approve the minutes on our first hearing and duly seconded.
There being no objection.
Is there an objection?
Now, Mr. Chair, just
Yes.
the query. The minutes were just submitted today, so if we could be given time to go through it and then we can approve it tomorrow, Mr. Chair, if that would be possible.
If that will take a few minutes, then I think it. Can we not go over as we go along if there are some comments or any suggestions with regards to that?
Yeah,
Can
okay.
we just ask
Can
the
we just
concept?
approve it later during the day so we can? Because if we suspend to
Okay,
read the minutes, it will take time, Mr. Chairman.
That there is a motion. Is there any objection to that? Is that an objection or that's a suggestion?
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, I object. I
There's-
object in that sense, Mr. Chair, because we don't even have a copy of the minutes here. At least Congressman Lobregat has a copy. So if you are going to call for a vote, we
Mr.
will
Chair?
object, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
May I be acknowledged?
Congressman.
Since this representation raised as a motion the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting without and dispensing with the reading, I now amend such motion.
Yes.
The motion now will be to dispense with the approval of the minutes so that we can proceed with our proceedings with
Okay,
our Mr.
is
Chairman.
there any objection to the amendment of the motion of the Honorable Pagdilaw? Now, there being none, let's proceed with the meeting. Thank you. Motion is approved. Yes.
The motion now will be to dispense with the approval of the minutes so that we can proceed with our proceedings with
Okay,
our Mr.
is
Chairman.
there any objection to the amendment of the motion of the Honorable Pagdilaw? Now, there being none, let's proceed with the meeting. Thank you. Motion is approved.
The chair requests the COMSEC to please acknowledge the presence of our distinguished House members and guests and resource person.
The presence of the following Minority Leader Ronaldo Zamora, Senior Deputy Minority Leader Nery Colmenares, Rep. Luz Viminda Ilagan, Rep. Manguda Datu, Rep. Antonio Tino, Rep. Emmy De Jesus, Rep. Terry De Ridon, Rep. Carlo Nograles, Rep. Baby Arenas, Rep. Amang Magsaysay, Rep. Ferdinand Hernandez, Rep. Fernando Hicap, Rep. Silvestre Bello, and Rep. Kimi Coangco. I guess. I'm sorry, Rep. Edgar Erice. Rep. Kit Belmonte. Rep. Cesar Sarmiento. Rep. Victor Yu. Then, wala. Member po nakasama sa members. May nag-roll call of members. The presence of the following resource persons and guests is hereby acknowledged. From the Department of Interior and Local Government, Secretary Mar Rojas. From the Department of National Defense, Secretary Voltaire Gasmin. From the Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process, Secretary Teresita Quintos Deles. From the Armed Forces of the Philippines, General Gregorio Pio Ponsalan Katapang, Lieutenant General Rustico Guerrero, Major General Edmundo Pangilinan, Brigadier General Carlito Galvez, Brigadier General Manolito Orense, Director General Cesar Garcia from the National Security Advisor, and from the National Intelligence Coordinating Office, another House member, Rep. Marcy Teodoro. Sino pa? Yes, sir.
To the members of the House of Representatives, thank you for your presence. And to the invited guest and resource person, thank you very much for your presence. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Before we go any further, the chair would like to make an appeal. The result of our hearing dated February 11, 2015 has caused varying reactions to the public, from the public. We are accused of grandstanding, chaotic conduct during the proceedings, and non-observance of proper decorum. Even your chairman was not spared of comments from people who are not well versed of our rules. Criticisms, after all, are part of public service. But we, however, have families who are affected by these criticisms, and it is difficult to see them suffer. Consequently, your chair personally appeals for your cooperation in order to change the negative impressions of this institution as created in the minds of the public. The chair suggests that, if possible, we avoid questioning our own rules of procedure, for it is we who crafted these rules. These rules were not meant to give advantage to anyone, but only to facilitate the orderly proceedings and to inquire our questions. To our inquiries serve the purpose. The chair assures that every member of this committee will be given a chance to speak. All I ask is patience in waiting for each one's turn. Finally, the chair suggests that if possible, we observe proper decorum in benefiting the stature of this institution. These agreements are part of every hearing, but they should be raised with utmost respect to our colleagues' sensitivities. By doing this, we can show the public that we are worthy members of the House of Representatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wal barakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I join my colleague, Congressman Jeffrey P. Ferrer, Chair of the Committee on Public Order, in welcoming you to the resumption of the House inquiry on the Mama Sapano incident. I am delighted that our colleagues have managed to find the time to attend this legislative inquiry despite the fact that Congress is presently in a long recess. That being said, let me extend my apologies to our colleagues for consuming a portion of your time on our legislative recess, which is usually spent for constituency work in our respective districts. The resumption of this joint committee hearing highlights the transcendental importance of this inquiry to our national government's primordial agenda to forge a peace agreement with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front in Muslim Mindanao. Undoubtedly, this single and exceptional incident not only undermined the gains of the peace-building efforts of our government, but also inadvertently exposed a gap in the institutional mechanisms of the peace process to ensure a stable security situation in Mindanao. It is therefore our duty to find the cause of this gap and provide solutions to plug it, for we cannot forge a credible peace agreement when mistrust on both sides of the peace table is high. We are well aware of the results of the parallel investigations that had been conducted by the Senate and the Philippine National Police. And we feel that there are still questions that have been left unanswered and continue to linger in the probing minds of our people. However, it is not our intention to supplant or challenge already of public knowledge. We also feel that it is now an opportune time to continue this House inquiry when emotions have subsided and where we can proceed to fulfill our duties with greater sobriety, fairness, and objectivity. Admittedly, our first hearing fell short of the people's expectation when we allowed our unbridled passion to get over our sense of decorum. Let us not allow that to happen again. Let us prove to our countrymen the importance and necessity of this inquiry to help ensure the rendition of justice to all victims, and not to unwittingly stoke the flames of retribution or revenge. I am therefore appealing to our colleagues to be more discerning in putting forward their concerns and questions in order to ensure an orderly proceeding. We will strictly enforce rules, particularly on time limitation, in order to give ample opportunity for all members to propound questions. We also appeal to you not to ask repetitive questions, to enable us to cover more grounds and to avoid giving undue burden to our guests and resource persons. Certainly, there are many things that need to be improved, and this should be in place and observed not only for today, but in the succeeding hearings. Let me emphasize that while the House of Representatives has the duty and authority to proceed with and conclude this investigation, our ultimate objective would be to ensure the credibility, fairness, and independence of our proceedings. Remember that our nation's eyes are upon us, and that the manner by which we will conduct this inquiry will reflect not only upon our individual credibility as legislators, but more importantly, to the integrity of the House of Representatives as an institution. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wal barakatuh.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair?
Before the chair could recognize representative, I would like to continue with some reminders on the procedure of this meeting.
But Chairman Saliman, before you proceed, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Deputy Speaker Balindong and Congressman Kimbo. And also Congresswoman Reyes.
Just a few sub-reminders to the members of this committee, two committees. First is to continue list of the interpolators from previous meeting. And second, if a member of the list is called but is not present, she or he forfeits his place in the list. If she will come later, he or she will have to list again. If there is time, we may have a second round. There will be a fresh list, and we shall give preference to committee members. When another member has questions related to the query of current interpolator, the member must wait for his turn to speak. We shall give each member an uninterrupted 5 minutes to ask questions. Gentlemen's agreement. When interpellation is finished in less than 5 minutes, the 5-minute time is considered consumed. Appeal to the members, waiver of time in favor of another colleague is not encouraged. We will have a bell that is going to be ring. When the bell rings, it is a signal that the current interpellator has 1 last minute to propound questions. That's the bell. That's the bell. Also, on the rules, just a reminder, all questions, comments, motions should be directed to the chair. If you wish to speak, please wait to be recognized by the chair. In order to use the time of all attendees as effectively as possible, we will strictly enforce the 5-minute rules allocation without interruption. Any unused time shall be, of course, that had been mentioned already. Any member who has said the floor once during a debate may not have it again while the same issue is being debated. If there is any member who has not a chance to speak, then members may seek the floor a second time. Only members of the committee can make motions. When a motion is adopted or lost, a member who voted with the majority may move for its consideration. Only one motion for reconsideration shall be allowed. Section 1 around. A member of which the author of a bill is a resolution referred to as a committee, or if there are several authors, the first author's name in the bill or resolution, or their duly designated co-authors, as the case may be, shall be considered as members of the committee for referral for the purpose and throughout the duration of the consideration of said bill or resolution, but shall have no vote in the committee. Thank you. Just a reminder.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair.
Yes, the Honorable Tino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To Chairman Ferrer and Chairman Hataman Saliman, noong March 30 po ay nagpadala ako kasama ni Congressman Hiccup ng Anak Pawis ng komunikasyon sa Joint Committee na hinihiling na imbitahin si Pangulong Aquino sa hearing na ito upang sumagot ng 20 tanong. At kalakip po dun sa sulat yung 20 tanong hinggil sa kaalaman ni Pangulong Aquino at sa naging papel niya sa mga pangyayari sa Mama Sapano. So, maaari po ba, Mr. Chair, malaman kung anong aksyon ang nagawa na o gagawin ng Joint Committee hinggil sa aming kahilingan, yung formal na request po na imbitahin si Pangulong Aquino?
Sa kasagutan sa kagalang-galang na tinyo, nabasa ko po yung sulat na naka-address kay Chair Ferrer. And consistent with our first ruling during the first hearing that we had, and if we remember it right, we already have voted unanimous majority of those members that are present at that time na hindi po natin pwedeng imbitahin si Presidente. At napagbotohan na po natin yung motion na yon, at natandaan ko may succeeding motion na ang kagalang-galang natin yun na ni-raise again at that time at nagrulang chair. Again, consistent with this, ang napagkasunduan namin dalawa ay pareho po sa ruling na binigay namin noon sa first hearing natin. Maraming salamat.
Mr. Chair, well, naintindihan ko po nung panahon ng unang hearing, may mga specific question po noon na pinagmulan nung motion para imbitahin si Pangulo. Pero marami na pong nangyari mula nung panahon yon, maraming mga developments. At kung mamarapatin niyo po, babasahin ko lang mga salita mismo ni Pangulong Aquino, no? Hinggil sa
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Hinggil sa
Point of order, Mr. Chair. We have a list of congressmen who will ask questions, and Congressman Tino has taken his time during the last hearing, Mr. Chair.
Before the other members could, if I may remind the Honorable Tino, na yung pong mga questions, una-una nabasa po ng marami na ng members ng House at particularly itong committee na ito, tingin ko po hindi na natin kailangan i-expound. At again, may I reiterate na yung ruling po ng chair, base po sa mga nakaraan na rulings, dahil ang nakita natin, ang first motion na ni-raise nung kagalang-galang na Colmenares ay upang pasagutin ang ating presidente. At unanimous, karamihan po sa atin ay bumoto na hindi natin imbitahin ng presidente. At ngayon, yung same, yung intention po ay upang tanungin at pasagutin natin ang ating presidente. The chairs again reiterated that we will the same rule that na hindi po natin pwede imbitahin ng ating presidente. Maraming salamat.
Mr. Chair, si Pangulong Aquino mismo po ang nagsabi, imbis na magtanong sa akin,
Mr. Chair,
ay
Mr. Chair,
naglagay ng spekulasyon
point of order, Mr. Chair.
ang mga gumawa
In order to
ng
provide
ulat.
I recognize other members also who want to raise the points.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Barisaga is
Mr. Chair.
Before today's hearing, or to answer the 20 questions which were published in the newspaper, would be of transcendental importance. Requiring the President to appear here, or even to answer the questions, would create far-reaching consequences, which would affect the very foundations of our democracy, and that would be the separation of power as well as the basic rule of co-equality among the three of the government, namely the judiciary, the judiciary, the executive, and the House. I have been a member of this House since 2007. There are various instances wherein RTC judges have been invited by the various committees to appear in our investigation in aid of legislation. And the Supreme Court, through each court administrator, is always saying that we do not have the right to require justices to appear in our investigation involving separation of power as well as independence of the judiciary.
Mr. Chairman.
May be permitted to complete my answer?
Yes, the Honorable Barisaga is still recognized, and if other members would like to comment, please address the chair. Thank you.
Okay. we have a Senate investigation insofar as the Mamasapano incident is concerned. And yet, the Senate knows the basic principle. They did not invite the President. Even Vice President Binay was invited by the Senate. And when Vice President Binay did not attend, no sanction or no action was taken by the Senate. If we would require the President right now to appear or even to answer, then Congress would be the most powerful body among the three co-equal branches of the government, because it creates a dangerous precedent. It becomes a precedent that future presidents, on the basis of what we are doing right now, would also be compelled. Even justices of the Supreme Court in the future would be compelled, because there is no reason why the number one elected public official has the obligation, and yet the Supreme Court would not be appearing before our investigation. Even us, we have the parliamentary courtesy. Members of Congress, congressmen, are not required to appear in our hearings, not even in the Senate. If the number one elected official would be required to appear, then there is no reason why other elected officials like congressmen and senators would be appearing before our congressional investigation. That is a very dangerous precedent. There would be repercussions. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Chair,
Before
Mr. Chair,
the Honorable Agabao,
Mr. Chair, my name was mentioned. May I make a brief reply, Mr. Chair? My name was mentioned.
The Honorable Sarate is raising
Mr. Chairman.
the Honorable Sarate is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Naintindihan po naman natin yung sinabi ni Congressman Barsaga na meron nga tayong separation of powers. Kaya po ang hinihiling nga ng Makabayan Bloc ay imbitahan natin si Presidente Aquino dahil siya na rin po mismo nagsabi nung kanyang pambansang pakikipagtalumpati sa ating mamamayan na hindi siya tinanong man lang ng BOI. No, kahit nagpasabi sila kay Secretary Rojas, hindi raw napagsabihan ni Secretary Rojas si Presidente Aquino. Kaya ito yung pagkakataon na gusto nating maibigay sa Pangulo upang straight sagutin niya itong mga tanong ng mga kasamahan natin at nung 12 tanong na inihain na namin sa komite. Yun po yung pagkakahulugan ng sulat. Hindi ho natin nire-require. No? That's only an invitation. It's for the President to respond to that invitation and answer the questions, the 20 questions under oath. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, may I raise a point of order? May I raise a point of order, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, what is the point
Mr.
of
Chairman,
order? Congressman Agabao.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. In response to the query from the Honorable Tino, the chairman made a ruling with respect to the set of questions presented before this committee. That is the initial ruling of this body as reflected by the chairman. Now, may I know if the Honorable Tino is appealing that ruling? If he is appealing, then he should say so that we can openly debate on that, no? But there's a procedure to debate on that. So my query, Mr. Chairman, is this. Is the gentleman from ACT Teacher appealing the ruling of this chair so that we can debate on it?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, the Honorable Tino would like to react on the statement of, on the point of order that was raised by the Honorable Agabao.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I conferred with the Honorable Colmenares and he would like to make a proposal regarding the 20 questions, Mr. Chair.
No, please do answer the point of order that was raised by
Mr.
the
Chair.
Honorable.
Just
Yes,
let's
Honorable.
find a halfway measure here. Gusto natin matuloy ito, let's find a halfway measure here. Tama, we're just, in fact, giving the President an opportunity to answer. Invitation yon. Pag congressman maimbita sa Malacanang, it's not a violation of the equal branches of government. Pero now, Mr. Chair, ito ang aking compromise, Mr. Chair. We've sent a questionnaire to Malacanang and the committee. And we would just ask, instead of invitation na lang, that the President answer in a written form the questions, the 20 questions, and any other question that members of the committee would ask. We will no longer ask if the committee so thinks that it's bad to merely invite the president, at least we can send the written questions. And I heard last night, Mr. Chair, in fact, Malacanang is open to answering in a written form the 20 questions and other questions. So
Thank you, Ms.
I move, Mr. Chair, that we send
Thank you,
a letter
the
to
Honorable
Malacanang.
Colmenares. The points that you are raising had already been answered by the chair.
No, Mr.
But
Chair,
there
this
is
is different,
a
Mr.
point of
Chair.
order that was raised by the Honorable Agabao. If the Honorable Tino is appealing the motion, is the Honorable Tino appealing on so that also the chair could decide on the matter?
Mr. Chair, I did not make a motion. I made an inquiry.
Yes,
and
I already
received
have
an
answered that, and
Yes.
are you appealing the ruling of the chair?
I have made the motion, Mr. Chair. I have made the motion just now. I move that we send the written questions to Malacanang and that the President is requested to answer in a written form the questions, Mr. Chair, the 20 questions and any other questions that the committee would ask. That is a very reasonable compromise, Mr. Chair. I so move, Mr. Chair, that this committee vote on that motion, Mr.
Before
Chair.
I
second
could
that,
act,
Mr. Chair.
If I may, the chair would
Chairman.
like to reiterate the answer. I already have ruled that in line with the intention of questioning the President, the chair had already ruled. The first motion that was raised nung pong last meeting natin is to invite
Yes.
the President and question him.
Yes.
The same thing itong sulat, pareho po ng intensyon.
Magkaiba
To
po, hindi
question,
siya
pareho po
imbitahin
ng
po.
intensyon. Gusto nating tanungin ang Presidente. The same thing. Gusto ko pong i-rule, consistent with the first ruling, na napagbotohan na po natin ito at overwhelmingly bumoto yung majority House member ng committee na ito na hindi po natin iimbitahin at hindi po rin natin tatanungin ang Presidente.
Yes. Salamat po. I appeal the
So
ruling
kung
of the
meron
chair.
pong
I
appeal,
appeal the ruling of the chair, Mr. Chair.
So,
sana po,
point of order, Mr. Chair.
reasonable naman
Point
po
of
ang
order.
motion. Sana ipadala natin. Let the President decide whether or not to answer
1
this
minute,
question, Mr.
Spencer.
Chair.
No, may I just, okay.
Questions on what they're really going to do if they're going to invite the president, Ron, to the hearing or send him a list of questions to be answered. The Makabayan bloc already saying what the president actually has said before, that when the BOI report came out, the president had said that he was not even asked in order for the president to give an answer to some of the questions that that Congress, the House of Representatives, would want to possibly invite the president or send him questions to be able in order for the president to give an answer to some of the questions that that Congress, the House of Representatives, would want to ask them. But the thing is, the chairman has already ruled, they have voted on it in the past, that no such thing will actually happen because they are a co-equal branch of government.
That's a special committee's chair, Jim Ataman Saliman, saying that members have already voted upon it, and the chair has ruled that the president will not be invited and he will not be questioned anymore. It's been, what, more than 30 minutes since the session has started, and still no questions have been asked on the resource persons that have been invited for
Right.
today.
A number of them are there already. This House hearing began at about 10 a.m. And I guess the ruling of the chair has been appealed. So if that has been appealed, they should go down, they should actually vote on this particular appeal if the appeal will be granted or otherwise.
And that's what they're discussing right now. That's why the chair has asked for a minute suspension. A number of senators, as you mentioned a while ago, a full house at the House Joint Committee hearing for today.
A number of resource persons.
A number of resource persons also there. DILG Secretary Maroas, DefSec Voltaire Gasmin, AFP officials, PNP officials as well. Okay, the session has resumed. Let's go back there live.
On the written question,
On the written
no
question.
longer inviting the president.
And
just
there is a point of order that is going. The Honorable Barisaga is recognized.
Well, for the benefit of everybody, I would just to state that when an issue pertaining to point of order is concerned, there must be a violation of the rules of the House. And inasmuch as I have invoked a point of order, it presupposes that there has been a violation of our rules. And the rule violated was no other than Section